network is concerned. The government is really bullish, but there are some who feel that perhaps it would have been better, Bipin, if corporates had got a chance to come out with any sort of test transactions for GSTN. And in fact, they're also fearing, Bipin, that there is no idea about how the GSTN portal would respond to data upload. And hence, there are some corporates who say that perhaps a dummy upload or a dummy test phase would have made them feel a little more comfortable about the viability of the GSTN network. Is that something that is also being echoed by your clients?
So I'll tell you, the way it is working out is that most of the corporates have always thought of and have wanted more time to really validate their systems and also have a closer look at GSTN compliance before they actually went into GST. And the government has accordingly provided them a 2 months window where they can be compliant. So GSTN has done a lot of testing with the data which they had picked up from corporates across states, and that's what they presented to the GST Council. So from a GSTN perspective, and the GST Council has validated that GSTN is ready. From 15th of July, and that's the date which the government tells us, GSTN would be open for testing purposes, and the corporates should have some time where they can test their data then, and it would be at least a month before they would have to actually go out and file that for the compliance purposes. So the corporates will get their time. Most of the places the systems are ready or getting ready for corporates also. So I think it's what they call just-in-time thing where they would also get options to really test their data.
But Mr., that's a valid point, Mr. Sapra, but I also want to pick your brains on whether the real test of the GSTN network will come in the month of September, because right now the government has given the 2-month window, but what happens in September when a bulk of those return filing will happen?
You're right. And what happens is that while the testing has been done, you have to realize that there are a lot more taxpayers which are out there, and each transaction is going to be really reconciled and really matched with the vendor supplies which are there. So that is a humongous amount of transactions which we are going to see on the GSTN portal. And while we have been given the confidence that this would work out, we would have to actually wait till September and see that this actually happens. You are right, this would really be tested in September in its full form.
All right, that's a fair enough reason, but also another viewer writes to us, Ella Murugan. He says, I registered for GST with my TIN number, but I failed to add the service tax with it. Now when and how can I update the service tax with it? Mr. Kamat, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, I think there is also ample opportunity for you to factor in all the transitionary credits that you have not been able to capture earlier. So you also have a form trans 1 where you need to now record all your procurements which you probably would have procured in the earlier regime, but maybe you could not get the invoice in time, or if it is in respect of goods, maybe the goods were in transit and eventually reached you after 1st of July. So for all of this, provisions have been made. There is a form in which you have to report all these transactions, and eventually all that credit will come to you, and you can as your input tax credit in your GST credit ledger. So I don't see any problem there. It has already been thought through, and there is enough clarity on that. And the government has also proactively published advertisements in all the leading newspapers, regional newspapers, national newspapers, and publicized how this can come to you as input tax credit in GST. So I think it should not be any issue at all.
Right, Mr. Kamat. Bipin, now I want to bring your attention to an aspect that will impact not only the viewers tuning in, but each of us on the panel as well, including Ruchi sitting there in Delhi. And this is the entire debate about perks that are given by an employer to an employee. Now, this is something that is gathering a lot of momentum, and there seems to be a school of thought which seems to suggest that there are not going to be free lunches anymore. So a lot of the free amenities that are over and above an employee's CTC or cost to company, I believe they fall under the GST tax burden. Are you getting queries in this regard as well? And don't you think this is a dampener if it has a wide-ranging scope?
You bet. The number of queries which are coming from the both the employers and the employees are huge, and there is a lot of ambiguity around that, whether it's the car leases, whether it's the lunches which are supplied in the canteen where there is part recovery, whether there are cab facilities which are being given out. Any perk which is being given out is really under the scanner, and what do you really look at is a part of employer-employee relationship, whether it's part of the salary which is being given out, or as a part of this employment, or it would be a service which is being provided by the employer to the employee. And how do you really value, given that an employer and an employee are related, are the questions which are doing the round. So any supply which is being provided, so say a cab facility is being provided and the company gets an invoice of say 3,000 rupees, but it chooses to recover only 1,000 rupees from its employees, then would there be a supply of service which is the employer is
right,
giving
Bipin.
to the employee?
Bipin, I'll have to request you to hold on to your thoughts over there. Bipin, I'll have to request you to hold on to your thoughts over there because we've got a first live caller on the show, and that's Nand Gopalan from Madurai. Nand Gopalan, thanks so much for dialing in. Welcome to GST and You. We have our expert tax panel over here. Please go ahead, sir. What's your query?
Yeah, sir, I do jewelry business here.
Yeah, right, go ahead. What's your query on your business?
Yeah, there is a turnover of 3 slabs, okay? That is below 20 lakhs. Then after that 75 lakhs. Then after that above 75 lakhs, okay?
All right.
So I heard that below 20 lakhs nothing will be charged and we should not pay tax and we cannot get tax like that. So is there any slab for jewelry business in the 75 lakhs?
All right. So that's the query coming in from our viewer in Madurai. Shrikant, do you want to take that? He wants to know in the jewelry component or the jewelry segment, any slab around the 75 lakh range?
So basically, there are, either you have to be a manufacturer or you have to be a trader to qualify for the composition scheme. I believe your query is in terms of whether the composition scheme is available to you, or whether you are also, if you are below 20 lakhs, then do you still have to register and opt for the composition scheme? That is how I understand your query. And if you are below 20 lakhs, then definitely you don't require to register. But if you are above 20 lakhs and you do not have a turnover above 75 lakhs, then you have the option to go for a composition scheme. And the only flip side for the composition scheme is that you will not be entitled to the input tax credit. But if you are a manufacturer, then basically you just have to pay a 1% composition. So, so to that extent, I believe a composition scheme would be more suitable for small manufacturers. And if you are a trader, then obviously the rate is slightly higher, a little higher. So other than those two aspects, there is no other complication, and the return is also fairly simple. So if you have to register, if your turnover is about 20 lakhs, then and if you don't foresee your turnover crossing 75 lakhs, then I think composition is a very good option that you can think about.
All right, I hope that answers your question, Nandgopal. Do you have a follow-up, or does it, satisfy your query?
Excuse me, I have one more query.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, excuse me. If I heard that this for jewellery it is a 3% scheme. So for 75 lakh composition
Yes.
scheme is not applicable for us. I heard like that. Is it true?
Mr. Wade, do you want to clarify on that?
Yeah, madam. That is for the second slab below 75 lakhs.
Right. Gopal, wait. Let Mr. Wade take over. Mr. Wade, do you want to clarify on that?
So, as Shrikant just mentioned, if you are between 20 and 75 lakhs, you can go for a composition scheme that applies to everyone irrespective of the industry. If you are a manufacturer, 1% tax, just pay it and forget it. If you are a trader, then 2%. The 3% that you are talking is the rate specified for people in jewellery business. So as an example, that even though your turnover is between 20 and 75 lakhs, you don't need to be compulsorily under the composition scheme, and you can go under a normal scheme and pay 3%. In that situation, you will get an input tax credit also for the purchases that you have made, and you will pay 3% on the output tax credit. However, if you are in a composition scheme, then 2% as a trader, 1% as a manufacturer, and that's an end of the matter, no input tax credit. 3% is like the other rates specified for different items. For jewellery, the council has today taken 3% rate only for the jewellery business.
All right. Composition scheme is what you should take, and 2% tax you'll have to pay if you're a trader, and 1% if you're a manufacturer. That's the view coming in from our experts. But Mr. Bipin, I also want to ask you, and since we were talking about a lot of queries that are coming in from financial services companies, would the head offices providing centralized HR, finance, and IT functions also have to raise invoice?
So, see, there is no clear answer to this which has been given by the government. The way the law is structured, that if any and if the head office and the branches in some other state which are distinct persons have different registrations, if there is a supply being made from one to another, then there would be that would need to be valued, and a tax would need to be paid, an IGST would need to be paid. Head office, because there is a cost which is out there and it's providing a support, if it is going to be looked at as providing a support service, then those support services would need to be valued. So HR, finance, admin, a lot of these costs would then need to be charged to the registered offices. But there is still no clarity, because this is part of a same entity, and it's if everybody is going to recharge these costs, then it would create a lot of complexities out there. If you really read the law strictly, then yes, you will have to recharge these services as a support services provided by the head office. But I feel there would be a better intention, and there would be more clarity as things go by and the government issues some clarification on that.
Right, Bipin. Right, Bipin. Thanks for providing clarity on that front. Like, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and these are still early days as far as the GST regime is concerned. So with every passing day, there will be new queries, but we are positive here at ET Now that the government and, of course, the tax experts that join us on a daily basis will be able to offer clarifications, and I'm sure the government also will provide clarity in the form of circulars in the days to come. On that note, we've completely run out of time on this latest edition of GST and You. I must thank all our three guests, Bipin, Uday Ved, as well as Shrikant. And with that, it's goodbye from Ruchi and I. Stay tuned to ET Now for more news and updates.
In association with Yatra.com, India ka travel planner.
This is not a playground where you pick a side, run, walk, drive, feel, fly, all at the same time. It's not about belonging to the city or the wild. It's about living the crossover life. Above the Ordinary, S-Cross, the premium crossover. Exclusively available at Nexa.
I can see you. You're looking good.
The package is secure.
Hang on. You're being watched.
What now?
have an idea.
How did you know?
My 1+5 has an extra